Austin, you've been playing this new game that I was very intrigued by. That when it was announced at what E3 or the
I think it was
or
2 years ago. It was E3,
No,
I believe.
Was it E3? And I think it was also revealed at like the Game Awards or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, they've been getting their press out there kind of so slowly but surely, and it definitely the way it's definitely like a Senua's Sacrifice type game.
So what is this game? Tell me this game.
You follow the grim tale of a young Amicia.
What is the game called? We haven't talked about the game name yet.
See, I'm tired. A Plague Tale Innocence, and it's by Focus Home Entertainment, which has not made a game in a while. No, they do. Just not games that I play. They made Call of Cthulhu, Vampire, and that's VAMPYR, and Surge.
Wait. Did they publish that or they made it?
I guess they
Vampire was made by Don't Nod Entertainment.
Yes, you're right. They published it. My bad. I have misspoken.
Interesting. Well, I didn't realize they had their name on all those titles. That's pretty cool.
I forgot what games they made in the past, but it's not the first time I've heard of them. Yeah, this was developed by Asobo Studio. It's a weird name, but you know.
Asobo Studio.
To each their own.
That is weird.
To each their own. Now can I talk about the synopsis here?
Yeah, you can totally talk about
Okay, sweet. Thanks, man. Okay, follow the grim tale of young Amicia and her little brother Hugo in a heartrending journey through the darkest hours of history, hunted by Inquisition soldiers and surrounded by unstoppable swarms of rats. Amicia and Hugo will come to know and trust each other. As they struggle to survive against overwhelming odds, they will fight to find purpose in this brutal, unforgiving world. And so you start off as like getting to know the character, and you know, usually the first mission's kind of like bullshit, right? Like just like, oh, here's how you do this. Hey, here's how you do that. Here's some story bits just to kind of get us through this really grindy part of, you know, of just getting into everything. And I think they did it pretty well, because it's like you and your dad, your dad's like a lord of like a very kind of a rich guy. I think he's a lord or something. I can't remember right now.
He's a wealthy man.
He is very wealthy, and he has some clout. So like people know you, right? And you get to, you know, they have some really good interactions. And for some reason, with these games made in Europe and stuff, they have great storytelling people on their in their studios, and they do just such a good job with like setting up the characters with the dialogue, and then getting people who can fill the characters and really portray them through vocal acting. And I'm just blown away, because usually I'm just like, all right, let's just get through this first mission so I can, you know, hopefully get to some better parts of the game. And right off the bat, I was like, this is good. And it sets up the whole story for like the rats, because there's a bunch of rats that come out and you don't know why they're there yet. And I still don't know why they're there. I haven't got to the end of the game yet. And they really don't say too much about the rats. It's just kind of like this world building scare, like what's the word I'm looking for?
Thriller?
No, it's like they add these obstacles in your path that really make you not want to get eaten by them, because they swarm you if you get in the dark, right? And that's pretty brutal.
Suspense moments?
Yeah, there's a lot of suspense moments.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the word I was looking for. And so like I'm really impressed with this game. It's really grown on me. It's very Senua's Sacrifice, like I was saying before. There's not a lot of game mechanics to it. It's more of a puzzle solving game, but it does take a step further from Senua's Sacrifice, which it allows you to upgrade certain things, and you do have an attack that so you have a slingshot, right, which is your main form of attack, and you start off with just rocks, and then you go from there to be able to do like you learn how to do alchemy, so you can make like fire starting explosives. That's not like, it's not a big explosive, it's just enough to start fire somewhere. So it kind of helps you get through the swarms of rats, and then you get other concoctions along the way that help you like take care of soldiers that are armed and stuff. So like with that, it's like really opens up this whole other aspect, which makes this game so much better. Continuous sacrifice is great, but like, you know, you only have an attack and, you know, not many things you can really do. The story was so good in that game that it didn't really matter. But with this, it's like there's more thinking involved. You know, you don't just go in there, you know, hack and slash and then get to the next story bit. It's like, okay, I got to think about this. How am I going to get through this swarm? What are the elements in the world that I can use to my advantage? And then you have to sneak around guards and stuff because one hit, you're dead. And, you know, there's so many threats and you feel the pain and you feel the weight of trying to survive in this really cruel world that, you know, you used to have everything and now you have nothing. And so you have to take your brother who has some kind of sickness that you're trying to cure, and also find out why your parents were killed. And so there's all this stuff that like really a lot of questions that really don't get answered, but it helps pull the story along because you have one singular goal. And I don't think you get that a lot in these games, especially AAA games. Like this is a AAA game and I highly recommend it for everybody. Now, questions, Brett.
That's super interesting. Yeah, so I've been looking up about this studio as you've been talking about it, and I'm curious to know where this came from because, you know, this isn't a, you know, mainstream kind of title. It's very much off the beaten path a little bit, and the fact that they were given funding and stuff like that to be able to produce something that is kind of off the beaten path a little bit is kind of interesting. Because it looks like they worked on the HoloLens with Microsoft a little bit, which is interesting. And then they're a French developer. They worked on Kinect a little bit. They created the game Feel. They work with Pixar on some stuff. And then they also worked on The Crew 1 and 2, which is interesting. They didn't develop it, but they were like a support studio for them. So they've had their hands on like a lot of different types of games.
They helped with Quantum Break.
Quantum Break, yeah. Quantum Break and stuff like that. So there's some interesting things that they've worked on, both movies and TV shows. And I'm like, or not TV shows, but like movies, games. Well, I guess not movies, games particularly, because I guess these are all games here, like Connect Rush, and they worked on Recore. Like it's pretty interesting. They've had their hand on a lot of stuff. So I'm just curious to know where this came from because this looks to be like their first actual mainline. Well, I guess they made a game called Fragments that was looks like it's for the HoloLens. But again, the HoloLens doesn't have full development acceptance yet. But this is their first like mainline IP. And it's done well. I mean, it's reviewed well and everything. So that's been kind of exciting.
Yeah, I really didn't know. What did you say?
I really want to play it. This looks like my kind of game.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of thought you have to put into it, but I mean, it's more of like a stealth game more than anything, and it just helps. I mean, the world building and then the setup and the character development along with delivery is just like it is AAA. You know, well, this is what AAA should be. I guess if it was an actual AAA game, they'd probably be more fighting and more game mechanics than they have in this game, which now that apparently I put in 5 hours, but so much has happened in this game. I thought I put in more than that. I'm not sure where I am in the full, let's see.
Overarching story.
Yeah. It looks like.
How are the graphics? Do they fare pretty well? What are you playing it on again?
I'm playing on PC.
Okay.
So yeah, the graphics are amazing in this game.
Okay.
Like it is on par with Senua's Sacrifice. Have you played that yet? I can't remember.
I have not yet. No.
Okay. Yeah, like that. Those graphics are. I'm surprised. You know, an indie studio that's not AAA can get something like that. But when you have people who are dedicated to a game and really believe in it and can be focused and don't focus on just getting money, like they can do some pretty incredible things, which we've seen in the past and we see with this game.
Right.
I think I'm on chapter 8, so I'm like halfway through this game. So this might be like a 10-hour game. At least.
So have you noticed any repetitiveness in the gameplay or anything like that?
Yeah, so that's I got to the part where 5 hours in, I'm kind of like, all right, I've done this. You know, there hasn't been any like huge big reveals that make me want to continue forward. but I am curious to know like what happens to these characters. And so I don't know how I feel for the rest of this game, but so far it's been pretty good. And just now it's getting repetitive. I'm like, all right, what's happening here? Because there's not a lot of mechanics, right? So it's like the same thing over and over. And you get cool new add-ons to your slingshot. So like one example is if you come up against an armored soldier with a helmet on, you can shoot this, I don't know what it's called, some kind of like burning powder. And so they take off their helmet, and then you use the rocks that you have, and you hit them in the head. So like David and Goliath, and then you kill them. So that's how you take care of enemies, or you can just sneak around them.
So you do kill people.
Yeah, you do kill people,
but you don't have to.
Nope, you do not have to. I think some points that you just have to, but it's nice. I mean, they make you that relationship between Hugo and Amicia, because they're brother and sister. It's like they start off rocky, but then they come close together, kind of like God of War. And I really enjoyed that because there's a lot of like humanizing stuff, and the way that they've designed these characters, they just like it's perfect, man. And like the way the animations too, it's like, man, I mean this is almost a masterpiece. We'll see how it is when it ends.
I'm curious to know, had this game come out before God of War, if people would have been more on like excited about this game. You know what I mean? Like had it existed prior to God of War and the storytelling that one had, if this had just dropped and was like, hey, check this game out, if people would have been like, damn, this is really, really good, as opposed to comparing it to God of War. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like having that mentality a little bit, because it does seem similar with that, that family relationship, and it's very much more of a personalized story and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But it seems cool. I mean, it's got a lot of good looking gameplay elements. Like I've seen the graphics look really good. I'm definitely going to pick this one up and give it a try, because I like to give it a go and just get a feel for how it is. It seems like a game that I would enjoy. It's not too long, which is good. It's not too crazy complicated. So yeah, I'm down with this.
Yeah, man, I highly recommend it. I think it should be on everyone's game list right now. I think it's 45 on Steam. That's probably not that much everywhere else. Let me take a look.
Yeah, I think it's available on everything. I believe you can get on like Xbox and all of the platforms. I'm pretty sure
it's $45. So
look at that. It's not even a full price game.
They had Sean Bean do like a trailer thing for him. I don't know why he's on here, but awesome. Like, I'm glad they got him.
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, it's somebody that you're like, check this guy out. You'll know this dude.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Well, I'm going to have to pick it up and give it a go, and so should everybody else. According to Steam, it's got, actually, even on freaking Metacritic, it's got 81% right now. That's pretty damn good. I mean, for Metacritic, especially.
I mean, it's a good refresh, and it's definitely in the class of God of War without all the action and mechanics.
Even user reviews gave it 8.7 out of 10. That's crazy. Impressive. All right, cool. I want to pick that up.